Hey, welcome to 12 Tone. Let's start with a question. Why does this sound different from this? I mean, they're not completely unrelated, but they're also pretty clearly not the same. So what's going on? Are they just different chords? Well, harmonically speaking, no. They have all the same notes, but even if you can't read music, you've probably already spotted the difference. In this one, the notes are pretty close together. They're stacked in thirds, which is normal for harmonic analysis. In this one, though, they're much further apart. Each note is a perfect fifth above the next one down. This difference in note arrangement is called a voicing. The two chords have different voicings, so they sound different. Problem solved. Episode over, right? Well, hold on, let's rewind a second. I said that stacking notes in thirds was standard for harmonic analysis, but why is that? Is it because they're compact? Probably not. If that was the goal, we could fit the whole chord into one octave by stacking in seconds. But we don't do that. I mean, we could in this case, but simpler chords like this and this just don't have notes that close. As for why we use thirds, there's some good arguments to be made about frequency ratios, and if that interests you, check out last week's video on the harmonic series, but besides that, a lot of it comes down to tradition. It's what we do because it's what we've done, and whenever anything becomes traditional, there's always an artist with a sledgehammer waiting to smash it. Many musicians, especially in the last century and a half or so, have experimented with different chord structures built out of different intervals. In order to really understand these chords, though, we have to let go of some of our underlying assumptions about harmony. Most of what we learn as theorists relates to various forms of functional harmony. Broadly speaking, this means looking at how chords interact. We talk about resolutions, harmonic movement, and cadence patterns, but in non-functional harmony, none of that really matters. It's not about how the chord behaves, it's about the soundscape it creates. So what sounds do we get if we build chords out of non-third intervals? Well, kinda what you'd expect, really. If you use smaller intervals like seconds, it sounds tight and cramped. It's a very dense sound with all sorts of frequencies rubbing up against each other, and it can be hard to pick out individual notes from the chaos. You can take that even further using only half steps in what are often called tone clusters. Here, the actual notes involved are almost irrelevant. All you hear is the intense dissonant rub. It sounds a little better if the top and bottom notes are a consonant interval apart, but still, ugh. Some composers even use tone clusters so large that a piano player would have to use their entire forearm to play it, so, that's an option. On the other hand, if we use larger intervals like fourths or fifths, we create a lot of open space. These chords tend to float a bit, with notes just a little too far apart to create a real sense of harmonic grounding. They give a sense of power, freedom, and openness with a lot of empty acoustic real estate. They can also include tritones, which add a little bit of a dissonant edge without losing that signature open sound. Plus, chords built out of fourths are called chordal chords. That's not a word you need to know really, but come on, you want to know it. So what about sixths and sevenths? Honestly, they're pretty rare. For starters, they invert to thirds and seconds respectively. Going up a sixth is the same as going down a third, so you're not really getting a different set of notes than if you just used those. This chord is a stack of sixths, but it's also just a regular F major triad. You can view it as a different thing, and in some cases it's useful to do so, but theorists tend to be more interested when your method makes new combinations of notes, not just new voicings. Still though, the acoustic effects they have can be different, so if that interests you, play around with them. I promise I won't tell anyone. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to help make these videos possible, please consider supporting 12 Tone on Patreon. You can also join our mailing list for scans of all our episodes, try the exercises to learn more, like, share, comment, subscribe, and keep on rockin'.